Welcome to Psychology of Humans. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most common mental habits in modern life, overthinking. You know the feeling. You replay conversations in your head. You analyze what you said, what they said, and what you should have said. You plan for every outcome, every possibility, and every what if. It feels like control. But in truth, it's a trap. Overthinking doesn't give you control, it steals your peace. And yet, millions of us can't stop doing it. So, why does the brain overthink, and how can we finally quiet it down? Let's start with the science. The human brain evolved to predict danger. Thousands of years ago, survival depended on anticipating threats, a wild animal, a sudden storm, a rival tribe. So, your brain learned to overanalyze. It constantly asks, what could go wrong? That same instinct that once kept us alive now makes us anxious in a world with fewer real dangers, but far more mental ones. Overthinking is your brain's way of trying to protect you. It wants certainty, it wants control, but life rarely gives us either, and that's where the loop begins. When you overthink, your brain believes it's solving a problem. You replay, rethink, and reanalyze, convinced that one more thought will finally bring clarity. But it doesn't, because overthinking is circular. It keeps you stuck in thought, not action. It's like being on a treadmill. You're moving, but going nowhere. Psychologists call this analysis paralysis. The mind mistakes thinking about a problem for actually solving it. And the longer you stay in that loop, the harder it becomes to step off. The illusion of control is comforting, but it's also exhausting. You can't think your way out of uncertainty. You can only accept it. Overthinking doesn't start in the mind. It starts in emotion. Fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of the unknown. When emotion rises, logic tries to regain control, but instead of processing the emotion, we analyze it. We dissect every detail, trying to avoid feeling what hurts, but the more you resist the emotion, the stronger it becomes. You end up trapped in your thoughts, avoiding your feelings, and that's where anxiety grows. The key insight: overthinking is not a sign of intelligence, it's a sign of emotional avoidance. Your brain is trying to solve what your heart needs to feel. Here's how the loop works. Trigger: something happens, a mistake, a text, a silence, uncertainty. You don't know how to interpret it. Analysis: you replay it, looking for meaning. Doubt: every possible explanation leads to another question. Anxiety: you feel worse than when you started. Return: to escape the anxiety, you think more. It's self-reinforcing, like a hamster wheel of mental noise. Breaking it requires doing something radical, stopping before the answer appears. Psychologists divide overthinking into two main types: rumination, replaying the past; worry, predicting the future. Rumination says, why did I do that? Worry says, what if this happens? One keeps you trapped in regret, the other trapped in fear. Both take you away from the only place you can live, the present moment. Rumination is linked to depression. Worry is linked to anxiety. Both improve when you stop fighting uncertainty and start grounding yourself in reality. What's happening right now? It might sound strange, but overthinking feels rewarding, at least temporarily. Each time you replay a situation or plan an outcome, your brain releases a small dose of dopamine, the same chemical that drives motivation. So even though it's stressful, it becomes a habit. The mind convinces itself, if I keep thinking, I'll stay safe. In truth, it's not safety, it's stagnation. You're addicted not to clarity, but to the illusion of it. Overthinking steals more than just time. It drains emotional energy, confidence, and creativity. It kills spontaneity. It damages relationships. It replaces living with observing yourself live. People who overthink tend to doubt their decisions, hesitate in action, and seek reassurance from others, creating dependency and self-doubt. And the more you analyze yourself, the less authentic you become. You start performing life instead of living it. Freedom begins when you realize that you don't need to think about every thought. At the heart of overthinking is self-criticism. When something goes wrong, overthinkers often blame themselves. They replay moments not to learn, but to punish. Self-compassion is the antidote. When you treat yourself with the same understanding you'd offer a friend, your brain relaxes. You start to see mistakes not as proof of failure, but as part of being human. This shift doesn't silence your thoughts, it makes them kinder, and a kind mind is a quiet mind. Here are some psychology-backed methods to stop overthinking and regain peace. Name the thought. Label what's happening. This is rumination, or this is worry. Naming it separates you from it. Set a time limit. Give yourself 5 minutes to think about it, then stop. Structure limits chaos. Shift from what if to what is. Focus on facts, not imagination. Move your body. Physical movement resets your mental state. Write it down. Journaling gets thoughts out of your head and into perspective. Practice mindfulness. Notice your thoughts, but don't engage. Let them come and go like passing clouds. Overthinking thrives on resistance. Once you stop fighting it, it loses power. The only way out of overthinking is through action. Thinking never ends. Thinking only doing does. When you take small steps, even imperfect ones, your brain learns that movement, not analysis, creates safety. Each time you act despite uncertainty, you retrain your nervous system to trust the present. That's how confidence is built, not through perfect answers, but through movement. Action replaces anxiety with evidence. And over time, evidence replaces fear. Here's the truth most people miss. Overthinking is not a flaw, it's a symptom. It means your mind is active, intelligent, and searching for meaning. You just need to guide it gently to think with intention instead of by habit. When you stop seeing overthinking as the enemy and start seeing it as a signal, you can begin to listen differently. It's not asking you to think more. It's asking you to feel more, trust more, and let go. Because peace doesn't come from controlling your thoughts. It comes from realizing you were never meant to control them in the first place. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more insights into the psychology of being human.